Hello, everyone. It's your friend, the Nightwalker, and I'm back with another movie review. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about a pretty good one here today. It's actually a very, very chilling miniseries from 1984. You can actually watch it now. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it for free. The whole miniseries is on there. This is one of those ones, though, I really, really wish, this could get a DVD release or even a Blu-ray release or something. I wish somebody would get a hold of this miniseries because it's really good, and put it out there so that everybody can see it and get a good, beautiful version of it instead of like a VHS rip onto YouTube. But anyway, enough of that. The miniseries I'm talking about is the 1984 miniseries called Fatal Vision. Now, chances are pretty good. If you're watching this video, you already know this miniseries, or maybe you're just curious about it. Never heard of it before. Thought maybe you'd see what this is all about. But chances are pretty good. You're a true crime fan and you know what this is already all about. But for those of you who aren't, it's based on the true story of Dr. Jeffrey MacDonald, who he murdered his wife Collette and his 5-year-old daughter Kimberly and his 2-year-old daughter Kristin. And he was tried by the military, and at that time he had the support of his father and mother-in-law, Freddie and Mildred Kassab, and they supported him and everything. But the thing was neither one of them were allowed into the army hearings, so they didn't know what all was said. They didn't know what all information was given up and everything. And then after he was found not guilty by the jury from the army and stuff, Freddie Kassab said, okay, now that you're free, we need to get going. We need to find out who actually did this to, Collette, Kimmy, and Christy. And now the thing is that Jeffrey MacDonald always maintained that there were, I believe it was 3 hippies in his house that night, and very similar to the Manson murders. And he said, that the story goes like, I'm sorry if I seem a little all over the place with this, but supposedly the story goes that, it was a rainy night, and he was with his kids, and he taking care of the apartment that they lived in, and he was he washed the dishes, he watched TV with his kids, he put them to bed, all this kind of stuff, made sure they had dinner, all this. Then his wife, she was at classes, so she came home, and so they decided to have a late night drink together, and watch a TV show, and so they're talking and having a great time, talking about things are going good. So she goes to bed, and supposedly he decided to stay up for a little while longer. Well, it's like after 2 o'clock. He's watching TV and then stops, reads a book and everything. So he decides he's done. Okay, that's it for tonight. I'm going to go to bed. So he goes into he goes into his bedroom, and he sees that his daughter's laying in, I believe it's Kimberly or Kristin. I'm sorry, I forget which one. But one of his daughters was laying in the bed, and so he picks her up, takes her back, puts her in her own bed. Then he goes, getting ready to go to sleep, but then he sees that his side of the bed was wet, and so he decides, okay, well, I'm going to just go ahead and go sleep on the couch then. So he lays down, goes to sleep. Well, a short time later, he's woken up. He's supposed, the McDonald states this to this day. So, he states that his wife was screaming, "Jeff, help, Jeff! Why are they doing this to me?" and things like that. And he wakes up to see 3 hippies standing over him. One is African American. One, there's a woman with a long blonde wig and a floppy kind of a witch hat, and supposedly, according to McDonald, she was saying, acid is groovy, kill the pigs. And so he starts fighting and everything else, and so they stab him and he falls down. And then a short time later, he wakes up and finds out that his hands are kind of like wrapped up in his pajama top. And so, but of course he's like, well, first thing I wanted to do was go and check on my kids, and check on my wife. And then found out that they were brutally just not even killed. They were slaughtered pretty much. It was overkill. They were stabbed with, many, many times with an ice pick. They were beaten with a club, stabbed with kitchen knives, things like that. And it was just horrible. So he calls, the military police and calls the ambulance and all that stuff. And they go and they're they get them to the hospital and apparently as the crow flies, like apparently they were taking MacDonald to the hospital, and apparently they just botched the crime scene big time. Like too many cadets going in there. Supposedly one of them stole his wallet. One of them, like there was, they were disturbing the crime scene, things like that, like flower pots laying on the ground. Like one of them put it back, stood it back upright, things like that. So when he went to trial with all of this stuff, that he was saying, wow, it came to light, all this stuff. It was found out that his wallet was stolen. It's found, and it was by one of the military police and stuff, and found out that they just completely botched the crime scene and stuff. So, so he gets exonerated and things like that. But it's after this that, when Freddie Kassab says, okay, now we got to go and we got to go and we got to find out, who killed Collette, Kimmy, and Chrissy and bring them to justice and stuff like that. MacDonald's kind of like, well, I'm not too into the idea of this. I'm kind of more about like, I want to make money. I want to go on TV talk shows and talk about, what happened and everything else. And, I'm kind of more about like wanting to just start my life over again and, and all this stuff. And I want to go to California and become, a doctor. And, I want to get out there. I want to live the high life. I want to, just, drive fancy cars and date hot women and all this other kind of, which he does. And then at one point, they're watching a TV show, a talk show, and Mildred and Freddie Kassab, and they're realizing like a lot of the stuff he's saying doesn't add up. And so finally, after much, getting on Jeff's ass to get the transcripts from the hearing, he finally gets it. And Freddie Kassab sitting there, he's reading it, and he's all like, "There's so many things here that don't add up. There are so many things here that don't make sense. What about this? What about that? How could it? It's all like, how could there be a struggle when hardly anything was knocked over? How can how the hell was he washing dishes, and stuff like that? And he was raised kind of old fashioned that women were kind of like the ones who wash the dishes and do the cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. Freddie says, you and I, we've known that boy our entire life and we've never seen him wash a dish. All kinds of things like this. And the more they delve into it, the more they realize that MacDonald, to them was lying. So they decide now that they want to, pursue, MacDonald and bring him to trial and ultimately, spoilers, but they took him to trial and it ended up being that, I'll explain it here in just a minute, but he ended up being, tried and convicted. Basically, I believe it was for the murder of Collette and Kimberly MacDonald. It was second degree murder because as far as they were concerned that he murdered them, but it was kind of more by accident. And in the case of Kristin MacDonald, it was first degree murder because he did premeditate the murder of Kristin MacDonald. And that's pretty much what nailed him. That's what got him put in jail for the rest of his life. So, anyway, talking about the movie, the miniseries, you have a great cast in here. You really do. You have a very talented cast in this. You got Gary Cole plays Jeffrey MacDonald, who it's kind of funny now because if you watch this miniseries, it's very chilling, and he gives a very dramatic and very disturbing performance. There are scenes in that miniseries where Gary Cole is just so cold and just so frightening as Jeffrey MacDonald. And but the thing is, it's like now, Gary Cole, he's known as a comedic actor. He does a lot of comedies and stuff now. He played the dad in the Brady Bunch movie version, and he ended up, the most thing he's most well known for is playing the part of Bloomberg on Office Space. It's like, yeah, right, yeah, okay, if you could come in and work Saturday, that'd be great, yeah. So that's kind of more what he's known for now. He's known as a comedic actor, and but it's funny when you watch this miniseries. His performance is kind of chilling. I will admit that. Then you got Wendy Shaw, who plays, Collette MacDonald. Another one too. She plays a very serious, very dramatic role in this. She's very good, but she ended up becoming more of a comedic actress as time went on. One thing she's very well known for, she's known as playing Bruce Dern's wife in The Burbs. She was very funny in that, very, beautiful, sweet, everything. Then now she's known as the voice of Francine Smith on the TV series American Dad. So she ended up going on to have a very strong comedic career as well. So it's kind of ironic, I think. Um, in this miniseries, you got the parts of Mildred and Freddie Kassab. Mildred is played by Eva Marie Saint, who most people remember her from Alfred Hitchcock's movie North by Northwest. Freddie Kassab played by the late great character actor Carl Malden, and you have the lawyer War Heidi played by Andy Griffith of all people. So yeah, you get a lot of really really good talented actors and character actors and things like that playing these roles. Um, but the reason why obviously the nature of the crime. That's why your friend the Nightwalker wanted to review this, because this is one of the more chilling true crime miniseries. You think about it, the nature of the crime, the victims included, um, you know, a mother and a 5-year-old little girl and a 2-year-old baby. The idea, kind of like the references to Manson and things like that. That a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that McDonald just conveniently picked that as an idea because in their apartment apparently they had an Esquire magazine that on the cover it said something about Lee Marvin lives in fear or something like that had an article about the Manson murders and things like that. So McDonald took inspiration from that. So but there's so many weird things going on here, because then there is a hippie named Helena Stokely who she passed away, but throughout the trial and throughout this whole time up until her death, she always went back and forth. One minute she didn't know, one minute she was certain she was in the house that night and she did participate in the murders. Then the next time she says, no, I wasn't there. I was, too high on like LSD or something like that. So she always kind of kept going back and forth. She never could figure out if she was actually in the house the night of the murders or not. So it was always kind of strange. But to this day, McDonald, maintains his innocence, and he swears that the hippies were in the house that night, and they're the ones who did it. But um, but like I said, this miniseries is very much worth a watch. It's really good. It's something I honestly wish this would get like a legitimate DVD release or a Blu-ray release. I don't care who, Warner Brothers, Kino Lorber, Scream. I don't care who does it. Just somebody do it. I would love to see this get a really good, genuine release. But like I said, if you want to watch it, it's for free right now on YouTube. So, but yeah, there's some very creepy moments in it. Like when McDonald is, he's telling his story to the MPs, and you go into the flashback where you have McDonald's narration over what's going on and stuff, and he's waking up and he sees the three figures thing. It's very, very creepy, very scary. And then what's even more scary is the scene where you have the I think it's the forensics expert, and he's telling Freddie Kassab about, what, I think we could come very, very close to to pinpointing, like, just about basically explain how it was all done. But Andy Griffith's character of War Heidi is saying it's not going to matter if we can't figure out why, because it turned out that Jeff MacDonald, while he was married to Collette, he was still, dating other women. So he had a lot of, extramarital affairs and things like that. So they're all like, was that it? We can't prove that. Was it, did he get set off by, the daughter wetting the bed? It's like, we got to figure out why, and all this stuff. It's like, it's not going to matter without the why and everything. But Freddie Kassab is like, do it. Tell me like what you would tell the jury. And he's all like, do you really want me to? This is your stepdaughter. And he's like, yeah, tell me. I want to know. It was like, okay, well, this is your stepdaughter, your grandchildren, just okay. But so he goes through it. And the scene, it's almost like a silent movie scene, but you have the narration of the character. I believe the character name is Stombach, something like that. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but he's doing the narration over the scene, and it's incredibly frightening. You could just watch that scene alone. Just check Fatal Vision on YouTube and everything else. It's like an 8-minute scene, but it's incredibly frightening. And it's even more frightening to think that this is based on reality, and that this man might have actually done this to his own wife and children, and the brutal viciousness of it all and things like that. So, but yeah. So anyway, I would definitely say check this out. I would love to see this get a real release. Great acting. Carl Malden does a great job. Eva Marie Saint does a great job. Um, Gary Cole delivers a very chilling performance. Like I said, I just think it's funny that he went on now to become a more of a comedy actor and things. Wendy Shaw, who it's kind of weird to watch her in like The Burbs, or to watch like episodes of American Dad, knowing she played that part too. Not weird, but it's just kind of chilling. It's like, but anyway, though, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're a fan of true crime, if you like, true crime miniseries, don't go into this. You got to remember, this is a 1984 made-for-TV miniseries. So, if you're going into this thinking you're going to see a lot of gruesome violence and things like that, no, you're not going to see any of that. It's like, everything's kind of more indicated. It's kind of more left to your imagination. But, yeah, it's a very good miniseries. I definitely say check it out. And for free, it's not going to cost you anything. So, but, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So, if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please please subscribe. There'll be more videos in the future, and that's pretty much going to do it. So, yeah, I better get out there. The sun's going to be coming up soon, so I'm the Night Walker. Be careful. You never know. You might see me around out at night.